All right, so today we are going to be making brew number 4, which is going to be a Blackberry Mead. So things are going to get a little bit more interesting. At this moment, I have 4.15 pounds of blackberries in this ever so lovely bag, and they've been frozen. They are kindly given by Kendra, our very good friend. She has a blackberry problem in her yard, so she kept freezing them, and these are actually from 2 years ago. Perfect for fermenting. So I'm gonna go ahead and smash these up a good bit. Because that'll help with the extraction of juices and all of that. What also is going to help is that there's a special compound called pectic enzyme that we're going to use. Again, this will help get all of the juices and tannins from the blackberries and make life a lot better for us. There we go. Nice and pulverized. There we go. And honestly, I'm just gonna drop them on in. So let's move that real quick. And my ADD got ahead of me. I also need to rehydrate some fermento. So from our 1 gallon, that's not a clean one. Oh dear. While we wait, I'll put this back. And we shall add the 4 pounds of blackberries. Fulfill your destiny, little blackberries. All right. 4 pounds of blackberries. Woo! And apparently I had the valve on down there, so now I gotta clean up some blackberry juice. Re-sanitize the hands. So now, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna move blackberries over here. And I'm going to measure out about a cup of water to rehydrate some fermento. I'm not gonna be exact because this is just gonna be an addition. Fermento is a nutrient because honey for mead doesn't have very many nutrients for the yeast, and so this will help it along. Yes, there are some nutrients in the berries, but not enough to really oomph, if you will. There we go. Put that there, put that in here. Throw that there. And I'm using 3 grams. So, just to make sure it has enough nutrient for what's going to be happening. And in here, I'm also going to add the pectic enzyme, which clearly was not very well sealed in packaging. Always fun. So this just needs half a teaspoon per gallon. So I'm going to go ahead and get a heaping teaspoon, if you will. And that's in there. Again, the pectic enzyme is to do the opposite of pectin, which is what you use to gel, make jelly and jam. And pectic enzyme does the opposite, so it breaks it down into the juices and loosens everything up. Okay. All right, that is there. All right, my hands are sticky. All right, put this over here. All right, so next is 3 pounds of honey. We're going to be using Costco honey again. Turn on the scale. All right, here we go, 3 pounds of honey. And just almost there. There we go. 3 pounds. And now we've got 3 pounds of honey. Turn that off. Don't believe I'll be needing that anymore. And we pour in some water. I'm not filling it to just over half of a gallon because I'm going to be making some splashes with a spattle. It's a spoon, it's a paddle, it's a spattle. And this is to make life easier with stirring the honey. Because if I do much more water than this, then it gets really hard to stir without splashing all over the place. Versus this, as you can see, I can mix and match and do all the things. And what's also important at this point is to oxygenate the honey, the must. At this point it's must because the honey is in the water, I guess. Or is it when you add the yeast? It's a great question. If you have an answer, please inform me. Just getting that all splashy splash and mixed in. Gonna add a little bit more water just to make sure I actually got everything. Splash, I was taking a bath. Does anybody actually know all the words to that song? That looks good. Alright, put that back in there. And we'll go ahead and add it to the blackberries. Alright, looks like there's some just little remnants in there of honey, so in we go again. There we go. And in we go. So that is done. Add the rest of the water. We'll need this in a few weeks, because that's what I use for secondary fermentation, conditioning, if you will. Let's get this all mixed. So the yeast we are going to be using today is Mangrove Jack Mead yeast, MO5. It is specifically made for mead. And according to the package, it says it is a high ester producing strain, conferring fresh floral esters, especially when fermented cool. Luckily here in this house, we keep it around 66, 67, which is pretty cool for a yeast. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the entire packet because I don't know exactly how it's gonna react with the berries, so better safe than sorry. In we go with the fermento and the pectic enzyme. Get all those little yeasties in here. All right. There's that. Add this to it. Looks like some yeasties tried to get out, so this is when this guy comes in handy. There we go. Get all those little yeasty buggers. All right. So now we've got that going. What I need to do now is take a reading. This is gonna help. So generally, without the fruit, the ever so lovely must is pretty easy to take a reading. However, with the juices of the blackberries and some of the solids, it's a little bit harder to take a reading because it's releasing those juices throughout. So it's gonna be a little bit more of a guesstimate with the ABV this time around. So based on the history, I'm expecting maybe 1.100 for gravity. This is purely based on the fact that the first two brews that were traditional meads ended up being 1.084 and 1.092. So there's a bit of a difference there, but adding the sugars from the berries will make that go up. So again, I'm expecting it to be 1.100. In terms of bricks, which is what I'm going to have first, it's probably going to be about 20, 22 maybe, but we'll find out. Stir, stir, stir. There's that. Get my little pipette, turn this guy on. Before I forget, should get the pH paper ready to go to see if we are going to need some help one way or another. There we go. I got berry pieces, so it made life a little bit difficult. All right, let's fill her up. Measure. And while we're here, okay, so as I expected, it's 19.9, so that's about, almost 20. So that's pretty much exactly what I was expecting. In terms of the pH, it's, because of the color of the juice, of the must, it's kind of hard to tell, honestly. Take that picture. But yeah, that's just really hard to tell. Let's see if I can. Good job, Rach. I broke off the piece that makes it easier to tear. Okay, so it's looking about 2 or 3-ish. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with 2, so that's a little bit low on the pH side. So I'm gonna grab some potassium carbonate and raise the pH. One moment. All right, so potassium carbonate, it raises the pH, makes it more alkaline, because right now it's too acidic. Yeast likes acidity to be more along the lines of 4, and it's currently sitting at 2, so wanna change that. I have never opened this particular package before, so we'll see how it goes. According to the directions, it says 3.8 grams per gallon will reduce acidity by roughly 0.1%. I don't know exactly what that is. So, a pardon for the kitty. She thinks it's her noon feeding when it's not. All right, so I'm just gonna go for a ½ teaspoon and see where it goes. Okay. Okay. I think it's still like in between 2 and 3, so another ½ teaspoon. Great chance for more oxygenation. Not, yes. Okay, so now I'm sitting at like 4.5, 5. I'll take it. Sitting more 5 than 4. So yeah, that'll work just fine. So there's that. Give it one last good stir. Alright, that in there. Put a top on. Put a bung in. Put an airlock in. In the hole. There we go. All right, and now we're gonna let it sit, probably for about a month. From what I understand, this particular yeast has the chance of going to about 18%. So we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, yeah, see you in about a month for her first reading. Maybe 2 weeks. We'll see how I feel.